Hi again folks, how's all doing? Welcome to In the Shed, number 7. Let's see what I've been up to. First up is this Bachmann Class 25 sent to me by Tony to look into a possible slipping drive shaft. On inspection, I found that one of the drive cups was split, resulting in the worm gear not being turned reliably. I looked for a replacement, but surprisingly couldn't find one for this model. The split wasn't too bad though, so I ended up gluing the cup with some strong metal epoxy and it'll be fine. This old Airfix tooled Hornby 4F was sent to me by Chris. This was in a state of almost complete disassembly and had some parts missing, a weight missing from the tender being the most important thing. I very nearly declared this model as scrapbox fodder and not really an economically viable repair. I've actually turned down one or two of these old Airfix tooled 4Fs because you can buy them pretty cheap, and if it costs more for me to repair it than just to pick another one up, I'm not happy taking people's money under those circumstances. Just buy another one. Anyway, I managed to get this one back together, bodged a lead weight together for the tender and got the thing running again. However, I think it's got a bit of a dodgy armature. The motor runs a bit slow and the current draw is a bit on the high side. But you can't get spare motors for these unless you have a donor model. So really, it would be a case of buying another model and putting the two together to get a decent one from the two. But it runs. Dave, who sent me the Network Rail Class 31, also sent me this HST on behalf of his son Ewan. This model had done a fair bit of mileage judging by the worn state of the brushes, so a full ring field service, bogie cleanup and replacement brushes was needed to bring this back into running order. Dave and Ewan also sent me this Lima Class 50. They said it was making a scraping sound, but on test running, it just sounded like I'd expect an old Lima to sound. But I gave it a full service, filed the gears and replaced the missing buffer, and it runs as well as any old Lima will. A CD motor would greatly improve it, of course, but otherwise it runs fine. David Ewan also sent me this Bachmann 57XX in a state of disassembly and told me the motor was needing replaced. On testing the motor, it was smoking and running very hot, so I decided to fit a replacement. It may have been possible to clean the old motor out and get it running okay again, but it probably would have needed replacement brushes, which I can't imagine it would be possible to get. So I just decided, for the sake of the cost, to get a new motor. Then it was just a case of reassembly. The axles had already been replaced, so that didn't need done. The locomotive now runs okay, but it's a bit clunky and noisy at times, as some split chassis models tend to be, particularly with this motor. I'm not a fan of that motor at all, to be honest. This Hornby Super Detail Black 5 Ayrshire Yeomanry was sent to me by David. He said he bought this second hand and took it apart to try and resolve some running issues, but struggled to get it back together again. Some of these Hornby models can be a real fiddle to get back together properly, especially the pickups. However, on inspection and dismantling, it became clear why there was a running issue with the model. It was severely over-oiled. There was blobs of black tack in places black tack had no business being, like the sprung rear axle. The back-to-back was way out on the drive wheels, the drawbar contacts were mangled, and the wires had been sat on top of the motor. This caused the motor to be pressed down when the body was fitted and made the locomotive run a bit lumpy. So quite a lot to sort out, but once it was all done, it ran fine. This Hornby A3 St Gatian was sent to me by Bill on behalf of his cousin Brian. There was damage to the cylinders and valve gear, and one of the contacts on the drawbar was missing. The model had clearly been massively over-oiled. I think this may be the most over-oiled model I've worked on to date. Sorting out the cylinders and valve gear was easy enough, but the model took a bit of cleaning out. I fitted new contacts in the drawbar, rerouted the wires a bit, and in the end it ran fine, but yeah, a very oily model. This old 00 Duchess of Montrose was sent to me by Joe. He bought this second hand and just wanted me to service it and stuff. It was a non-runner, and on dismantling I found that the wee ball bearing was missing from the top bearing, but otherwise there was nothing wrong with it. That a good service and remagnetising didn't sort. I fitted a new ball bearing and it seems to run fine now. These old things run forever. And finally, this Bachmann A2 Sun Chariot was sent to me by Michael. He said it ran fine, but the left valve gear was clicking and that the union link was out of position. Easy enough to sort the valve gear, and I gave the model a wee clean up and service as it had some fluffage. I thought that would be that, but when I came to test run it, it was very sticky on curves and the rear pony truck kept derailing. I checked the wheel spacing and it was set way too wide. The rear drive wheels were up at 14.7. That's enough to lock the wheels on some curves and points, so I reset it to 14.3. The rear pony truck was just bouncing around like it had a mind of its own, so I swapped the spring with a stronger one and fitted a washer to the top of the screw. That limits movement, and it seems to have done the trick. So there you go, that's a wee insight into some of the other locomotives I've been working on recently. I've had a lot going on behind the scenes lately, and I've got builders coming in from the 11th of April for a week or so if they turn up. So repairs and work on the layout's been a bit sidelined this last couple of weeks, and will be for the next couple of weeks to come. But I'll try and get some sort of content up in that time. If you have sent me a locomotive for repair, I will look at it as soon as I can. But yeah, things have been a bit hectic recently, and they will be for a wee while yet. The good news is that I am now officially retired. I am now a full-time railway modeller and YouTuber. So we'll see how that all works out. Okay, it's Friday night. That means it's polka night down at the Gnome's Legs. Catch us later, folks.